Hey, my name is Rachel from Mountain View Woodwork & Crafts. Today I'm going to be walking you through how to make a t-shirt using heat transfer vinyl through Cricut Design Space, using a Cricut, and then using a Viva heat press as well. It's kind of been a long learning process for me. I have used the Smart Iron-On from Cricut, and I do like that as well, but I've recently switched to Caesar, I think it's called. I'll put a link below on that. I'll also use this, I'll put a link below for the Smart Iron-On because I do like that. I have the Cricut Explore 3, so it's a lot easier with that Smart Iron-On that I don't have to use a mat for. Now using the Caesar or just the everyday iron-on, I have to use the mat because the length of it or the width of it isn't the same as the machine. So I'm gonna get started. I do have a pretty big order from my brother's tree service, so I'm gonna be doing his logo. I'm going to be doing a front logo and a back logo, and I'm just gonna walk you through how to do that. I'll try and fast forward through the weeding process because his logo is a little tedious to get all the little things weeded out, but all right, let's get started. All right, so whenever I'm done, this is what I want it to look like. This is the front of the shirt that will go on the front left, and then this is going to be the back of the logo that will be centered on the or back of the t-shirt that will be centered on the back. So I'm going to delete these just so I can show you how to kind of start from scratch. So first thing you want to do, you want to create a canvas, which will be up here. You'll do new project, and it'll bring up a canvas here, and you'll have a blank canvas. I do want to point out that if you don't like the grids on the back, you can hit this button up here, the square, and it'll take it away, or resize your grids however you want to do that. There is a template which you can use to give you a general size of things. Once you get used to using them, you'll be able to determine what your sizes are that you prefer. There's also multiple things online that tell you what sizes you want to use for like toddler sizes, child sizes, and then the adult different sizes, which I have found nice, but I just wanted to show you this. So say that I'm making an adult large, I can, like I said, go to templates, t-shirt, adult large, and it gives you examples so that whenever you do it, you'll have a general size range. And like I said, once you start making t-shirts, you'll or if you look online, there are sizes which I'll show you how to change once we get started. But I'm going to delete this because I do know my sizes. Take this away. All right, so I'm going to upload down here in the bottom left, and I already had uploaded my image into the computer. However, if you don't want, or if you don't already have it done, you can go to upload image and browse your computer. And just for example, I am going to be making t-shirts for my mom's Sunday school class, for Bible school, so I'll click on this logo and open it just so you can see it's there. Hit continue to upload it. This will remove backgrounds. Now, a lot of the logos that are already made, such as like a PNG file, will already have the background removed. But if you need, say that I wouldn't want this here, I could go in and erase it by using this manual erase button. You can do the automatic remove background, or you can select things that you want to remove. This looks good to me. Like I said, this was made specifically for making t-shirts that came with the Bible school package that she purchased. So that looks good to me. I'll do apply and continue. Now, for this one, I'm just going to do a one color image because it's just going to be black vinyl against a regular t-shirt. If I was going to be making something that had multiple different layers to it, then I would be using this flat graphic. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to do single layer and continue. And then there it's ready. I would save it under my shirts. You can make different files here. I just have shirts and stencils for now. So I'm going to put it under my shirts and then upload it. And it'll automatically go here onto your canvas, but also whenever you go back to upload, say that it's not there, you can go to upload, and this will be the file that we just uploaded. You click on it, and then you can add to canvas down here. And then there it is. All right, so going back to my brother's logo, his was a lot more complicated because his PNG file didn't cross over as easily as that one. I had to go in and manually remove a lot of things with his. Like I said, it's a whole lot of trial and error, and that's okay because it's a hobby. So I'm going to click on his tree service, add to canvas. Now I'm going to be making different, sorry, I'm going to move this here just so I can zoom in. It looks tiny. Keep going in here. Okay, so this would be actually the size of the front that I want to make. So it's going to be, you can adjust the size by up here. So you'll see a width and a height. Because this is his actual logo, I don't really want to mess with the sizes of making it bigger or smaller, but just for the purpose of showing you. You can leave this lock proportion on, which will make it size it proportionally, or you can adjust it and say that I wanted to make it high or taller than it is. I can go, we'll say 7 inches, and you can see that it makes it very oblong. So I'm going to go back to 4.503, and that's his normal logo. So if you need to resize it, which I'll show you here, and keeping it proportioned, I'm going to do the back logo on this same canvas. So if you do Control C, that is copy, or you can always just right click and hit copy here. And then I'm going to click over here and do Control V for paste, or of course you can always do just the right click and paste. So because it's the back, I want to make it bigger. So I'm going to do 10 wide by 9.5. So I'm going to distort his logo just a little bit, just because it looks better on the shirts, if I'm being honest, with it being that big. So, sorry, I got you guys all over the place. So you can see I unlocked this so I could change his actual logo. Like I said, I've made quite a few shirts here actually yesterday for him, and this is what it turned out the best with. I did find a sheet online that that's a sizing and placement chart for t-shirts, and for adults it actually recommends anything from small to large to be the width to be 9.5. So that's actually why I ended up changing it for this. And then I actually had this one smaller to place on the front left, but it was too hard to weed out the tree service and some of the holes. So I'm going to try it bigger today and see how that turns out. Once you get to this screen, or once you're done with this, you can either keep it not attached, or you can attach it. For me, I'm going to attach it, and that way it doesn't move. You'll see I can go back and show you, but if I don't attach it, it's going to try and print these on 2 different mats, and just for the purpose of saving vinyl, I want to keep it on 1 mat. So that's why I attached it. So I'm going to click make and save project. I'll just put t-shirt. So it actually changed it from what I was doing. So I'm going to go back and cancel and not attach it. and see. It might be that I changed the size of this small one. So I'm going to click on that and click detach, and then click make again and see if it puts them beside each other. Okay, it's giving me the option at least. So I can go down here, since they're two different things, and pull this up here. And it is looking, because I made it bigger, it's not gonna fit okay like it did yesterday. So I'm gonna go back and cancel. Like I said, this is all just trial and error always. I'm going to go to 9.5 on this one and see if that's going to allow it to fit. If not, you waste a ton of vinyl, and it's ends up you're spending a lot of money on wasted vinyl. All right, so we're getting pretty close. So I'm gonna go back, and I'm going to make this width 4 and go to make. Once you have this design made, then you can save it, and it will be, you can just click on it and use it then. All right, so I think that looks good. I'll be able to use, I don't have to use this extra part of the vinyl to make this part of the Zimmerman's tree service. So because I am using the Caesar vinyl, I am going to use it with a mat. So I'm going to come over here and click on mat. And anytime that you're using, it bumped it down. So it's trying to make me use 2 mats. So I'm going to go to the second one, and I'm going to do move object and click on the first one. And I'm going to re-put it back where I wanted it to begin with. Okay. So like I said, on mat, and anytime that you're using heat transfer vinyl, anything iron on, you're going to mirror your image. And it will flip it that way, and I'll show you once it's cut. And we'll hit continue. Looks good. Okay. If I was using Cricut's Smart Iron-On, I have it saved here. Like I said, it is very nice to use, but it is a lot more pricey than the other HTV iron-on that I'm using. And sometimes the convenience of not having to use a mat is nice, but you lose a lot of vinyl. So not only is it more expensive, but you're wasting vinyl. So I'm going to do the everyday iron-on. And I always click more just because I want it to cut all of those pieces. I don't want things sticking. It won't weed out well. So it's actually ready. My machine's ready to cut. So I'm going to show you how I get the vinyl all ready. So what I'm going to do is, I know that my image is, which I'll bring it back just so you can see. If you look on here, the end of it will be right around 10 inches. So I'm going to cut this vinyl to be 10 inches. That way I'm not wasting any. Okay, going back to here. So I'm just going to use a roller here. Pull it out 10. And I'm likely going to invest in an actual cutter. This is the Cricut vinyl cutter, which is nice, but whenever it's not the same size, you'll see it can move. So you have to really hold on to it when you're cutting it, or else it'll cut crooked. So I measured it to about 10, so I'm going to hold it here, slide this across. This is just a light grip mat. Now, when you're doing HTV HTV, you always want to have the shiny side down. So I'm just going to put this on the mat here, make it as straight as I can. Like I said, this is kind of the tedious part about this, instead of using the smart iron-on from Cricut. But it all just depends on how much you want to save, and I'm putting it in the wrong direction. Bear with me here. Okay. You'll make sure all the bubbles and stuff are out of it. So this mat then just slides in, like I said, shiny side down. You'll make sure that your mirror is on in your Cricut design space. So I'm going everyday iron. I'm going to do more pressure. And then you will see this button here is blinking. That's your feeder button. And what it's doing is measuring out to make sure that you have enough vinyl. Now, it's a little more lax whenever you have the mat. When you don't have the mat, it's really particular on how much vinyl you have. So like, again, you waste a lot of vinyl whenever you use the smart iron-on. All right, and then it is blinking the play button, so I'm going to click it and we'll let it work. Cut one yesterday that I need to weed, so while that is doing the work here, I'm going to weed through this. And I'm going to turn my heat press on here. So the Cricut iron-on, they recommend 315 degrees for about 30 seconds. The Caesar is 305 for 15 seconds, and then I do the front and the back. So I got this for Christmas and I absolutely love it. It's easy to use. It's not super complicated. So I wanted to show you, if you go to setup, this is the temperature. So because I'm using the Caesar brand, I'm going to set it to 305 degrees. So that's correct. And the setup is, for time, is 15 seconds. It looks backwards because the camera's backwards, but if I wanted to move this up or down, you just do plus or minus. Same way with the time. Like if I was doing the Cricut iron-on, I would go up to 30 seconds. And it actually counts down for you, which I'll show you whenever we go to make a shirt. But I love this. I think it's super simple. Once you go to make it, you press it down, you hit this, and it counts down for you. All right. I also want to say that whenever you are doing heat transfer vinyl, you have to check and see whether you can do a hot peel or a cold peel. The Caesar brand, which is a lot of the reason why I love it, is you can just press it, bring it off of the heat press, and then it's ready to peel. Whereas the smart iron-on Cricut brand, you have to wait until it's completely cool to peel it off. And it's definitely a trial and error. Sometimes they work perfectly, sometimes they don't, sometimes you gotta repress them. You just kind of have to see what works. Alrighty, so I'm gonna start peeling here. Move my camera down. So what I do is I just grab the corner here and take off what I can just with my, just by peeling it back, and then I will start to weed out the detail then. The Cricut iron-on is a lot thicker than this, and I'm not sure if I love that or hate that yet. These seem to go on a lot easier onto the shirts, if I'm being honest, and it doesn't look like it's so like fake into the shirt. It kind of presses into the material. The Caesar brand, the Cricut brand, you can really tell that it's actual vinyl that was placed on. And some things that you do are a lot easier than others. My logo is doesn't have a bunch of different things on it, so I can do one of these in like 30 to 45 seconds. This one is a very detailed logo, but it's a very nice logo, so it's going to take me a lot longer to do. So just bear with me here. It's kind of therapeutic. I did get me one of these handy dandy things at Hobby Lobby yesterday, which I'll show you here why. When I get the smaller pieces, I can just stick it in there and it takes it off instead of me having to use it with my hand and it sticking all together. And it actually, I was confused how it was not going to stick to the inside, but you just bang it on the side of a garbage can and it all comes out. It's very nice, actually. And then I use the Cricut tools just because whenever I got everything, I got all Cricut brand. I wanted to have everything work correctly and be able to follow all of their directions, what they said. I haven't yet tried any other brands of tools per se, so I'm not sure how well they work. I don't have any complaints with the Cricut brand though. I'm sure you can get cheaper things. Also, I don't know for anybody paying attention to what's in the background of my videos, but I just turned this room, it was a storage room in my house, into a craft room. I have a wood shop on the other side, but I didn't want sawdust all through things. So I am in the middle of converting this storage room into a craft room. So I have most of my wood bench built and all of the stuff done, but there's still a ton of the stuff that I had stored here that I have to go through that's sitting in the background, so don't judge. It'll get cleaned eventually and organized, but this is actually the first shirt order that I've had ever, and thankfully it's I don't want to say just my brothers, but they're a little more lenient with things, so but I wanted to be respectful and timely, so I wanted to do this before I finish my craft room. If anybody has any recommendations or tips or anything like that concerning the different types of vinyl brands, I would love that. I've been just searching the web on Reddit and all of the things, that getting people's opinions on what they like, what they heat things at. Like I said, it's really a trial and error thing, and I have used and ruined a lot of t-shirts and used a lot of vinyl trying to figure out this stuff, and half of my sweatshirts had been peeling, but I think I have it now completely figured out. But if you guys have any tips or tricks, I am all ears to hearing those. Same thing with weeding tedious logos like my brother has. I have a lot of patience, but these big ones aren't bad. The small ones are, for the front of the shirt, are pretty rough. So I did, this one that I had from yesterday is the smaller, still the smaller, and you'll see whenever I am doing it why I made it larger today. Because it is almost impossible to weed through. The Caesar brand did say that if you're having trouble weeding the vinyl, which I'm really not, it's just there's a lot of little holes here. Excuse me, you can heat it up just by pressing the heat press down for a couple of seconds and then just laying this on top. I did that yesterday and it didn't really make too much of a difference for me with this logo. Maybe with something else it might make a bigger difference, but I'm not really having any trouble peeling this per se. It's just like I said, there's a lot of weeding to go through. Probably should have picked an easier logo to do this video for, but I can maybe fast forward through some. So I am doing a 30 shirt order. Some of them are hoodies, some of them are t-shirts, some are muscle shirts, all different sizes. And I will post in the description the pictures of how they turned out. My little niece is a 2T, so it is so cute. The little logo on her hoodie, or her t-shirt and sweatshirt. Like I said, they don't always take this long. You kind of just, if you're making these to sell, you have to take into account the time that you're putting in for the price of what you're selling them for. Maybe a easier shirt you can sell for a little bit cheaper, but these ones that take time, you can't chintz out on the price because you're going to be putting a lot of your time into them, and you have to figure out whether it's worth it or not. Now, if you're just doing it for a hobby and that's what you want to do, that's completely fine, just some side cash. This is kind of a mixture for me. I like to do woodworking a lot better than this stuff, but I also enjoy it. I think that it's cool that I can make a whole lot of things. Last week I used the Cricut markers for the first time, and that was super cool. I just picked an image off the internet and it just drew it, and it was so cool. I'm not super skilled on the Cricut yet. I've been watching a lot of videos, but I haven't mastered it, that's for sure, yet. I'll also post, I have two different links that I found on the internet that give you the different sizes for the t-shirt and the different temperatures for the heat press and the different types of vinyl. I have certainly found it helpful. There, that logo just finished cutting, so you can see how much time it took for it to cut that. But no, I'll post that below. I think that that's half the battle, is trying to figure out what temperatures you're supposed to do it at, because you don't want those to melt it or to not stick. Okay. So, going back to the Cricut, it is completed cutting. So, it'll blink to feed it in or out whenever it's done. So I'll click this and you'll see it remove it from the machine. Some people say it's easier if you put your mat upside down and peel it off this way, because then it doesn't roll the sheet, whereas if you do it like this and peel it off, it can bend the sheet and cause issues. So like this, and peel it down, and then it's not all rolled up. And what you'll have is, it's kind of hard to see, but the logos are in the correct place, and then you'll have to go through and weed that. So while that was cutting, I actually did weed out the white, and this is the finished project, or yeah, I guess project of the back, and then this is the front of it. So I have the heat press warming up to 305. I have my parchment paper here ready. So I'm going to do 305. We'll do the back side first, and I'll run you through what I do to make sure that it's centered and in the correct places. So I'm going to do a large forest green hoodie. I got this off of line because Hobby Lobby and those don't have this color. So what I do, they do recommend you pre-warming it, your shirts up to draw the moisture out, just 2 to 3 seconds. So what I do is I kind of kill two birds with one stone. I'll fold it in half, make sure, and this is how I'm going to mark it to keep it centered. So I'm going to stick this, I'll move this here, hopefully you guys can see it okay. So I just have the back here, make sure the strings are out, and I'm just going to do it for like 2 or 3 seconds. So this will be the pre-warming and marking it to keep it centered, and I'll explain that here in a minute. All right. We'll do 30 seconds, and we'll back up. Over. And you'll be able to see here that there's going to be a line, and that's your center line, to make sure that your emblem is centered. I did not use the parchment paper just to do my preheating. I'll do that whenever I have the logo pressed on. So I'm just going to turn the camera here to look down at what I'm doing. So what I do is I fold my emblem in half, the sticky sides on my over here, and I fold the non-stick sides up against each other, and just put a little crease in the bottom and in the top, and that marks it to keep it straight so it's not crooked. And then I'll line those creases up with the center crease that I did. So I actually purchased some of these online. And they tell you how far down you should be putting your emblem, your logo on the shirt compared to the neck. On the chart that I'm going to add on in the description, it actually tells you how far down you're supposed to put them. This is actually the chart, but I'll attach it so you can see. So this says place top of design 3 to 3.5 inches below the neckline. So what I've been doing is there's the neckline, and this total is about 4 inches. So I've kind of just been eyeing it up. It does not have to be perfect, but I have been putting the logo kind of right at the edge. That way they're all straight and they're all uniform as far as how far down they are. So I'll put the tip of the tree there right at the top, line up my creases with the crease that I put in the shirt, press down. And an extra piece of stuff here on the end that I do not want. All right, so I'm done with that. I'll get my parchment paper ready. And hoodies sometimes can be a pain, so I actually have been turning them sideways on the heat press instead of putting them with the hood towards the back here, because the hood then gets in the way. and you want everything to be as flat as possible. So I feed this in through there and try and get all of the excess shirt out from the heat press itself. And the strings. And then I'll put a piece of parchment paper in between. And then you can adjust the pressure here. I have a good bit of pressure on the shirts. I have it set at 305 for 15 seconds. So we press this down, I'll hit the mode button and it counts down for us. And once it beeps, I usually do the front and the back for 15 seconds. Now you could use the argument that I'm going to be putting a logo on the front and the back, but I just want to make sure that it's pressed in a timely manner. The laundry's done. Yo. Alright, and I'll do another 15 there. And then, like I said, this Caesar brand, correct me if I'm wrong, Caesar brand, you can peel it hot, and it actually peels better hot. So we're going to take this off and peel it, and we'll see if anything peels or melts or any problems here. I did do 10 different shirts yesterday, and it worked pretty good without any problems. So we will see here. So nice, and that's the difference. I think the biggest difference that I have found with the Cricut Smart Iron-On and this brand, you would have to wait, and it looks super good. If there would be anything peeling up, I would press it again for 15 seconds. So we're flipping around to the front here. Since it's already warm from me just pressing it, I don't have to preheat it. And I have one of these shirt markers, and like I said, I'll post those below. They're super good, super nice. And I have it centered here with this same crease that we had, and this actually has a marker where you put your logo on the front of the shirts. So I'm going to fold this logo same way. This one's a little less easy because I don't have a full line here, but I want to place that crease right there where the logo marker would be. Try and keep it as straight as possible. Usually eye it up a little bit as well. All right, looks good. Paper. And that's for another 15. But these are hard because they're bulky, so you want to try and get as flat as you can so that the press presses evenly on your transfer sheet. So I'm going to do the front here for 15, and then I'll do the back. You make sure you put parchment paper down on your logo, or it will melt it off. And then we'll peel it off then. This brand I haven't had any problems with really peeling per se. The Cricut brand I did. And I had to press it multiple times. Kind of a pain. we can peel it off warm, and no problems at all with peeling or sticking, which is great. All right, so that's about it. Here is the front, and here is the back, and they turned out really good. I'll leave in the description below the heat press that I use, the settings as far as the heat goes, the sizes, chart, the shirt markers that I use, and like I said, I use the Explore 3 with Cricut mats and the Caesar brand vinyl. Sorry, I can't see my face, which isn't a bad thing. And then the Cricut iron-on, smart iron-on, I'll post as well in the description. But for right now, I'm loving the Caesar brand, so I'll make sure to post it down below. All right, thank you.